Your brain can send a signal before your mind has a name for it. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops, or reality tilts for half a second. And when you stop and ask what's wrong, there's no answer, no thought, no reason, just the feeling, already here. Your brain felt something, and it didn't wait for a word to do it. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain does not wait for language to decide if something matters. First it scans, then it reacts. And only later does the thinking part of your mind try to explain what just happened. The feeling arrives before the story. Every time. Sometimes the story never even shows up. That's why some of the most intense things you feel are the ones you can't name. Some of them have names, others only have patterns. But once you recognize them, they stop feeling so random. So let's go through 6 of them. Starting with the strangest one of all. You're standing in a grocery aisle, holding something ordinary, and suddenly it hits you that you exist. Not as an idea, as a shock. You're here, in a body, right now. This is real, you are real, and one day it ends. For a second, the ground feels different. Like you woke up inside your own life and can't unsee it. The obvious thought is that something is wrong with you. That normal people don't get ambushed by their own existence between the cereal and the checkout line. But here's the turn. Most of the time, your brain runs your life on autopilot, so you don't feel the full weight of being alive every second. Now and then, the autopilot drops. It may simply be your mind noticing the thing it usually hides from you. The full weight of being here. It passes fast, but while it's there, it's enormous. Now compare that to something much smaller and much louder. Your brain doesn't only ambush you with the big picture. Sometimes it sets off an alarm over nothing at all. You're fine. Nothing is wrong. But your chest tightens, your breath goes shallow, and your body braces like something is coming. Someone asks what's wrong, and you don't know. Because it isn't about anything. Some people call this somatic anxiety. Not anxiety as a thought, anxiety as a body alarm. The easy explanation is fear. But the threat may never arrive because there may never have been one. The alarm arrived before the story. Your body reacted, and then your mind went hunting for something to blame. And the scariest part isn't the alarm. It's that your mind will invent a reason to explain it, and then believe the reason. Your body is answering a question your mind never asked out loud. But sometimes, your brain doesn't sound an alarm. Sometimes it just drops something. You're doing nothing important. And out of nowhere, something empties. For a second, your chest goes hollow, like something you can't name just left the room. And before you can find the cause, it's gone. It sounds like nothing out loud. I felt empty for 3 seconds. But you know it wasn't nothing. It's tempting to call it moodiness, instability, sadness for no reason. But your brain reacts to echoes. A certain light, a smell, a shift in the room that quietly matches something old. It hands you the feeling without the memory it came from. The sadness arrived before the memory. So you feel the weight, but you never get to see what set it down on you. A feeling with no return address. The next one doesn't empty you. It separates you. You're walking, talking, doing everything right, but you're doing it from a step behind yourself. Like you're watching your own life through slightly thick glass. You're still in control, but part of you isn't fully in the room, and you can't explain it to anyone. It can feel like you're disappearing, but often what's happening is distance, not absence. The fear is that you're detaching from reality, or losing yourself. For some people, this shows up when the mind is carrying too much at once. One way to picture it: when the load gets heavy, your brain can turn down the volume on the present, just enough that you don't feel all of it at full strength. It may be your brain creating distance from overload, even if that distance feels uncomfortable. This is not a diagnosis. It's one way the mind steps back when the present becomes too much to hold. But your brain doesn't always step back. Sometimes it does the opposite. It refuses to let go. There's a cup near your chair. You know you won't knock it over, but your brain keeps showing it to you. Or a sentence from a conversation that ended hours ago, replaying, checking for a mistake you never made. Nothing is being solved, but your mind keeps circling, and you can't shut it off. The cheap answer is overthinking, that you just need to relax and let it go. But this was never really about the cup or the conversation. Your brain would rather replay a fake danger than sit quietly with uncertainty. The worry arrived before the threat, and your mind decided that circling a problem feels safer than admitting there isn't one to solve. The loop isn't the glitch. The loop is your brain trying to make not knowing feel survivable. And that fear of not knowing runs under the last one too, the saddest of them all. You're in a good moment. A real one. The kind you waited for. And right in the middle of it, you start missing it, while it's still happening. Part of you steps outside the moment just to grieve that it's going to end. And it quietly pulls you out of the very thing you wanted to enjoy. This is often called anticipatory nostalgia. Some people call it nowstalgia, missing something before it's even gone. The guilt says you're ungrateful, that you can't even enjoy the good things when they finally come. But your brain is built to protect you from loss. So sometimes it previews the loss early, as if grieving now will make it hurt less later. The grief arrived before the loss. And in trying to protect you from the ending, your brain quietly talks you out of the middle. It doesn't hurt less. It just costs you the moment twice. So what do all 6 of these have in common? Look at them together. The feeling is real. The trigger is invisible. And the word is missing. That's not a coincidence. That's the pattern. When a feeling has no name, it's usually because it arrived before language, in the body, in memory, in the old alarm system that doesn't speak in sentences. The word comes from the newer thinking part of your mind. The feeling comes from somewhere older and faster. So when you can't name it, that's not you failing. That's your brain showing you exactly where the feeling is coming from the part of you that reacts first and explains later, if it explains at all. And once you see this, you start noticing it everywhere. The mood that shifts before you understand why. The reaction you regret before you can stop it. The pull toward a memory you didn't choose to open. That's not you being dramatic. That's just the gap between feeling something and having the words for it. So here's my question. When one of these hits you, where does it land first? In your body or in your thoughts? Because that tells you which part of you is sending the signal. Here's where this leaves us. We're taught to trust the feelings we can explain and to distrust the ones we can't. Maybe that's backwards. Maybe your brain makes you feel things you can't name because naming was never the first job of a feeling. Warning you is. Protecting you is. Pulling your attention somewhere is. The name comes later. The signal comes first. The feelings you can name have already been filed, handled, understood. The ones you can't name are the ones still arriving, still raw, still trying to reach you before your mind catches up. So the next time a feeling shows up without a word, don't rush to bury it under the first story your mind invents. Because a feeling without a name isn't a feeling without meaning. It's just a signal that reached you first.